Hello everyone, welcome to another video. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button. I'll be making weekly videos about filmmaking and gear review. In today's video, I want to talk about the S&Q settings on Sony cameras and how you can shoot slow motion right in camera without having to go into post-processing on your video editor. So the S&Q setting on Sony cameras stands for the slow and quick motion setting, as opposed to using the conventional method of shooting time lapses where you would shoot images, or for example, if you wanted to shoot slow motion where you would shoot at either 60 frames per second or 100 frames per second and then slow it down and conform it in a video editor such as Premiere Pro. The S&Q setting gives you a very quick way of doing that. You'll find the settings for S&Q mode under menu on the second tab up top. Under movie 1, you go down to the third, fourth, fifth setting, S&Q settings. So you have two settings: the record setting, which is the frame rate you'll like your final video to be in, either at 24, 30 or 60 frames per second. And then the frame rate, this is the number of frames you like the camera to shoot for it to compile either a slow or a quick motion video. It goes all the way from 1 frame per second to 120 frames per second. Select the 120 frames per second. It tells you that it will shoot 5 times slow motion at 12 megabytes per second. If you were to shoot slow motion the conventional way, by shooting at 60 frames per second or 120 frames per second, you can see that the bit rate will be a lot higher than by shooting at S&Q mode. But for simplicity and for quick turnaround, or if you wanted to skip the post-processing work, you could shoot it this way. If you go all the way down to 1 frame per second, it will show you that it's really quick motion, in other words, a time lapse at 50 megabytes per second. When you're in S&Q mode, you cannot record audio at all, and the camera will tell you by the microphone off symbol. It also gives you an indicator of the frame rate you're shooting at, in this case 1 frame per second. So let's head outside and try this out. Alright, so we're outside and we'll try to test the S&Q settings on this camera. We'll start with the S for slow. I'll set my final output video to 24 frames a second and the frame rate to 60 frames per second to shoot in slow-mo. And then as you can see, it'll tell you that it will shoot in 2.5 slow motion at 21 megabits per second. This way you'll be shooting slow motion video straight right in camera without having to slow anything down in post. So just filming a short B-roll sequence, and as you can see, there's slow motion straight in camera. Normally what will happen is you'll have to shoot in 60 frames per second and then slow things down to make it slow-mo. But with the S&Q setting, you can get slow motion footage straight in camera. So now let's see how you get a time lapse straight in camera. So now we'll test the Q setting and the S&Q setting on a Sony camera, which stands for quick. We'll go to S&Q settings. We'll keep the frame rate at 24 frames. That's our final video output. And I'll want to shoot this at 1 frame per second. And as you can see, it tells you that it'll be 24 times regular speed. Alright, so I shot a 3-minute video of the fast-moving traffic down there, and we'll see what it looks like in camera. It should give us a time lapse as soon as you hit play. So we'll hit play, and there you go, a time lapse directly in camera. So there you have it, guys. This was the video on how to use the S&Q settings on Sony cameras. If you learned something new from this video and you have not subscribed, please do so. Your support would be greatly appreciated. So thanks for watching, and until next time.